Good afternoon, everybody. It's been a little while since I've done a Maxime Bernier Twitter Roundup. So here we go. Maxime Bernier Twitter Roundup since March 5th, 2019. Maxime Bernier says, quote, listen to Scheer's Answers at 10:50. Does the Conservative Party believe that a DPA should be considered for SNC Lavalin? He will not answer. Too afraid of negative headlines in Quebec. I've been clear. No deal with SNC. No one above the law. Hashtag LibCons. And if you watch my show, I reported on this too, but we'll watch it again just for brevity's sake. This is Andrew Scheer dodging the question on whether he would support a DPA for SNC Lavalin or anybody, really.
He said that today that the DPA, the Deferred Prosecution Agreement, should still be on the table, that it's still an option. Does the Conservative Party believe that a DPA should still be considered for SNC Lavalin?
The question on this whole issue around a deferred prosecution agreement is that this is a tool that this Liberal government has given to the justice system as an option. It is up to independent judicial officials to make those determinations. It's never up to an elected official to pick up the phone and call a Crown prosecutor or call a judge or call on someone who is tasked with preserving the independence of our rule of law and our judicial system to start saying, hey, I'd really like you to go easy on this friend of mine. We can, as parliamentarians, as elected representatives, we can give different tools to prosecutors, to judges, to our court system, but it is completely inappropriate to start using powerful positions to reward your friends and punish your enemies. That is what Justin Trudeau is accused of doing, and that is what he has yet to answer in any meaningful way.
So you're against the DPA then?
I am against any politician interfering in a criminal. I am answering your question. It is completely inappropriate for politicians to interfere in the execution of our justice system. That is what is essential.
Could you hear the tap dancing in the background? Tap, 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 tap. That was Justin Trudeau tap dancing in the background to Andrew Scheer's words. It's the same tap dance, guys. It's the same one. It's exactly the same one. Your question isn't the one I want to answer. So you know what the question is that I want to answer? The question that I want to answer is it's inappropriate for politicians to put pressure on the Attorney General. But sir, the question was about DPAs. Yeah, but it's inappropriate for politicians to put pressure on the Attorney General. Tap, tap, tap. Mr. Scheer, you missed it. Again. Mr. Bernier says, would you have cut a deal with SNC? Miss Lisa Raitt says the debate would happen at Cabinet. And if a deal were to be made, it would be made. And the Canadian public would know what the deal was instead of trying to use the office of the prosecutor to do it through the back door. Me, no. So again, Mr. Bernier is clearly defining himself against the Conservatives who are absolutely willing to mislead the public with their non-statement statements on, would you support a DPA for SNC Lavalin? Why can't they answer that question? Why do they need all these words? Look at that. Do you support a deal with SNC Lavalin? Ms. Raitt's answer, Mr. Bernier's answer. Interesting, right? The length of the answer says a lot in this one. The answer should be no. Mr. Bernier says, quote, Scheer systemically refuses to say whether or not he supports a DPA with SNC Lavalin or not. Is it because he promised his support to SNC's lobbyist when he met them and doesn't want to be publicly contradicted? And I'm not going to show each one, but each one is different than the one before, right? This is the deputy leader of the opposition, and this is a different clip than this clip that I showed you just now, right? So these are this is multiple times he's been asked and tried to be nailed down during this clip. And I'm sorry that I'm jumping all over the place, but during this clip, the reporter said, you're not answering the question. He said, I am answering your question, and restated the non-answer. It's really interesting to watch. This is the state of our Canadian politics. And this is why I support Maxime Bernier, because, number one, he's calling this trash out. And number two, up to now, he's not engaging in it. He's being very straight. This isn't, this is campaign style, but this is not campaigning rhetoric. This is, it seems to me, what he believes. And you guys need to know I'm biased, okay? So I am biased. Take that away with the Maxime Bernier Twitter Roundup, right? Right. Maxime Bernier says, quote, JWR, Jody Wilson-Raybould, and Dr. Philpott are not heroines. Having the basic integrity to oppose obstruction of justice should be expected of all. But they always supported and still support the pandering, massive vote buying with taxpayer dollars and crony capitalism, like all the other libcons. Hashtag libcons. Bernier says again, quote, join me Monday evening for my first virtual town hall. Ask me questions about the SNC Lavalin affair on my Facebook page and YouTube channel. Sir, wonderful. I look forward to this event. I will be there. A word to the wise and a word of caution and warning. Have good moderators. Make sure they are practiced up. See if you could run a dry run with a couple of 100 people first to see how everything works with the comments, etc. It's worth it to work out the bugs before you go live. Okay. But also having a good moderator to make sure the questions get filtered and not filtered to prevent people from talking, but filtered so that Mr. Bernier gets the best questions to answer in the most across the broadest stretch, right? Like you don't want to have a mod who's only choosing the same kind of questions. You want to have somebody who's doing a good job at saying, well, that's kind of like this question, so we'll have these two, and right? Like that's the kind of person you want doing it. Okay. Maxime Bernier says, quote, the role of government is not to protect jobs in a specific company. It is to create an environment conducive to job and wealth creation that is fair to all companies and benefits all Canadians. Canadians deserve a government that works for all, not just for their cronies. And man, do I agree with that. He says, again, quote, if Liberals cared about jobs, they would allow pipelines to be built, would not add jobs, killing regulations, would not constantly grow government with new costly programs, would not increase deficits and taxes. What they care about is helping their cronies and buying votes. And this is all in response to the same Power and Politics clip. And I'm going to show you the clip. This is the Liberal spin. This is what the Liberals, hold on.
I think
This is what the Liberals want you to believe about this whole thing. This is about jobs. Jobs is the most important thing. That's the only thing Liberals want you to think when you think of SNC Lavalin. Jobs. And I'm probably not helping by saying jobs so much, but that's the line they're trying to push, and I want you to not miss it, right? So here is 30 seconds of Liberal Kool-Aid. Don't drink up. Just listen and be weary.
I think fundamentally the question that is behind this entire story is whether or not we're in favor as a government to protect 9,000 jobs. And these are conversations that must be happening because obviously these are important conversations. As a government, we always want to make sure that we protect the 9,000 families and also all the retirees that are pensioners.
See those eyes? Man, isn't that OAC eyes? So Bernier is responding to, if Liberals cared, that clip by saying, if Liberals cared about jobs, they would allow pipelines to be built, would not add job-killing regulations, would not constantly grow governments, with new costly programs, would not increase deficit and taxes. What they care about is helping their cronies and their buying votes. And I agree, and I just wanted to restate that tweet in light of the Liberal lies being spouted. If you watch my videos, you saw this one this morning. I'll leave the clip or the link in the description, but I'm not going to play it now. Bernier is saying, SNC Lavalin, the Trudeau Liberals, say they want to save jobs. All they want to do is help their cronies and buy votes. A People's Party government will stop the pandering and vote buying and will govern in the interest of all Canadians. And yeah, it's worth the minute watch. Okay, you convinced me.
Hello, everybody. The Trudeau Liberals keep saying the reason they are helping SNC Lavalin avoid a trial for corruption is to protect 9,000 jobs in Quebec. That's nonsense. The role of government is not to protect jobs in a specific corporation. The role of government is to create the right environment that will allow the private sector to create jobs and wealth. The role of government is to create the right environment that will be fair to all corporations and benefits all Canadians. If Liberals really cared about jobs, they would allow pipelines to be built in this country. What they really care about is helping their friends, pandering, and buying votes. That's the real scandal in Ottawa. Thank you.
So Bernier himself, that's the scandal. That's what we need to look at. I agree. Here's PPC Banff, and this is retweeted by Mr. Bernier. And it says, listen, as Maxime Bernier talks policy, politics, and the future of the People's Party of Canada on the Jim Fannin Show. And there's a link there if you want to watch it. Bernier again says, more targeted vote buying that will make our fiscal regime even more complex. Scheer doesn't care what families pay for basic necessities, or he wouldn't support the supply management cartel that costs them $400 a year. People's Party of Canada will simplify and lower taxes for everyone. And this is Mr. Scheer making an election promise to remove the GST from home heating. Oh, thank you, sir. Anyway, Maxime Bernier says, read my statement on SNC Lavalin after Gerald Butt's testimony yesterday and Justin Trudeau's declaration this morning. And it's actually in a tweet thread, and we'll look at that in just a minute. So this statement was posted to Facebook, and here's the same statement in a tweet thread. It says, the Liberal government is obsessed with protecting jobs at SNC Lavalin. Both Butts and Trudeau made it their central argument for pressuring Jody Wilson-Raybould to get a remediation agreement and spare the company a corruption trial. 2, they were clearly willing to go to great lengths, including potentially obstructing justice to protect the company. Why? Because SNC is a large and well-connected corporation based in Quebec, and the Liberals need more seats in Quebec to stay in power. 3, the Liberals don't care about protecting jobs for Canadians. They care about protecting their own jobs. This scandal is the perfect illustration of what I've been saying for months. Politics in Canada has been hijacked. The two major parties are morally and intellectually corrupt. 4, they don't make decisions based on the interests of all Canadians. They make decisions to manipulate public opinion and buy votes. It's all about pleasing their political clienteles and the lobbies that support them. The Liberals and the Conservatives don't want to discuss the type of policies that lead to such scandals because they both practice it. We in the PPC want to tackle the problem at its root, yet the constant pandering, the crony capitalism, the vote buying with taxpayer money. That's what makes us different from all the other parties. That's what we will offer Canadians when they choose the next government in October. Sorry about that. And the last tweet for this morning, Mr. Bernier says, and it was this morning at 7:53 a.m., and he says, quote, why did SNC Lavalin, a company repeatedly accused of corruption, choose to hire a former top federal bureaucrat, Kevin Lynch, as its chairman instead of someone with business experience? Because dealing with governments is its main business. Crony capitalism is the problem. And yeah, crony capitalism, crony corruption. And that is a big problem. And hopefully, Mr. Bernier's talk on stopping this trash is more solid than Mr. Trudeau's talk on being transparent and open, because Mr. Trudeau did not deliver. I somehow think Mr. Bernier will, if given a chance. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out the People's Party of Canada.ca. That's Mr. Bernier's party, and check it out. It might be what you want to vote for. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.